Hey guys, Mike here. So today's cult classic review is 2003's Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2004's Kill Bill Volume 2, starring Uma Thurman as the bride. In Kill Bill, the bride seeks revenge on her former colleagues and their leader after they leave her for dead at her own wedding. And now she's hunting them down one by one to get her revenge. And so we have Kill Bill. So yes, in this review I will be talking about both Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. There'll be obviously times where I refer to it just as Kill Bill, but then there'll be other times where I refer to each separate volume. So I'll try and keep it as straightforward as possible. So guys, this is another movie in this series that before watching and reviewing it today, I had not seen it before, though for years I've been meaning to watch these films. I don't know why I haven't watched these ones, it's just I haven't watched them. But now I've got a good reason to watch them, so what did I think of Kill Bill? Well, going into it, I thought that my biggest critique was going to be the fact that it was going to be more style over substance. And in Kill Bill Volume 1, that was definitely the case. It is very more straightforward, she just seeks out to kill her target. In Kill Bill Volume 1, you never really find out much about the bride, you don't know who she is, or how she's as good as she is. But in Volume 2, they do sort out all those issues. They give you more of a backstory as to who she is, where she came from, and how she's as good as she is. And a bit more into the reason as to why any of this happened to her. But I gotta say, Uma Thurman as the bride is phenomenal. You can clearly see why she always comes up in conversations as one of the great female protagonists in movies. I wouldn't say she's one of those characters where she could be a role model for anyone, because if you're looking to be like Kill Bill, then you're going to have a bit of a messed up life. But Uma Thurman was great in this, especially in Volume 2. I mean, don't get me wrong, in Volume 1 she's an absolute badass, but in Volume 2 is where you get to really delve deep into her character. She has great motivations to do what she's doing, and she really shows off quite a lot of range in this as well. And for a majority of the film, she shows off that she's a very capable and competent character. There was probably one scene where I was just like, that was probably one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. And it's made me think, why did you do that? You didn't honestly see that coming. I'm obviously not a trained assassin, but even I could have seen that coming. And this is one of those scenes that, throughout the film, I just kind of thought, what was the point of it? There were just so many scenes in Kill Bill where I just thought, why are you showing me this? This seems like it's going to be pointless. But after the movie shows why it was necessary, ultimately, I'd say there were kind of no pointless scenes in Kill Bill. Every scene has a purpose, no matter how minute it may seem at first. Because pretty much every time I thought, why did you do that? They explain, or it becomes pretty obvious as to why they did it. And for the most part, there were really good reasons as to why they did it. But obviously, the main draw for the Kill Bill movies is the absurd, over-the-top, gory, violent action. And Kill Bill does not pull any punches. It's pretty much the signature Tarantino, over-the-top, blood everywhere, over-the-top sound effects, great, brilliantly choreographed action that you've come to know and love over the years. Honestly, I really love the sound design in the Kill Bill films. Yes, it is obviously over the top, and at times it can be quite cartoony. But honestly, what it lacks in realism, it more than makes up for feeling the power of each of the strikes. There are so many punch, kicks, jabs, stabs that are emphasized by these over-the-top sound effects, and it makes you feel every single strike. The cinematography for the majority of the Kill Bills was phenomenal. There probably were one or two shots which I failed to see the necessity of them, and they were probably just an excuse to be a bit fancy with the camera work. But honestly, these scenes are so far in between, and it just doesn't ruin the experience as a whole. Honestly, it's hard for me to pick a favourite scene throughout this because there were just so many great character and action moments that they're just too many to name. Though if I probably had to pick one, it probably would be the anime style sequence. Because though at first it may seem a bit out of place, I just thought it was a nice breath of fresh air and adding more detail to this already great detailed world that it created. The anime section allowed for even more loud and bombastic action that normally would be quite impossible to film. And just when you think that this is going to be the highlight of the over-the-top blood and gore, the live-action stuff manages to match it somehow. Honestly, Kill Bill had really won me over in the first couple of minutes. But I'd say probably the biggest plot point standout for both of the films came towards the end. Because honestly, even though I still really like this and I think the story is really interesting, it is definitely more style over substance. And I was thinking that throughout the majority of both of the films until the last hour. Because even though the ending did go the way that I thought it was going to go, it definitely wasn't as clear-cut as I thought it was. Kill Bill manages to throw you one final curveball, and it just makes you question what the characters are going to do next. And I just think it made the ending even more powerful. Now, I haven't seen every single Tarantino movie, though I am getting quite close to watching them all. But I have to say that Kill Bill is definitely one of Tarantino's finest displays of brilliantly choreographed action. Django and Inglourious Basterds are definitely known for their great action, but honestly, it's quite hard for them to top Kill Bill. So guys, would I consider Kill Bill a personal cult classic, and would I recommend that you guys should see it? I really liked Kill Bill, guys. I wouldn't say that it exceeded my expectations because I had really high expectations going into this one. But still, nonetheless, I had a great time watching this. I would definitely put this as one of my favourite movies in this cult classic series. I would also definitely put it as one of my favourite Quentin Tarantino movies. And I would also probably put this as a personal favourite as well. The acting's great, the fight choreography is phenomenal, the cinematography is excellent, the sound design is awesome. Everything about this is just great. You could probably argue there are 1 or 2 scenes in this that don't need to be in the movie, but honestly, they just add so much more to this world, and it makes the whole thing a bit more interesting. And it aids in making the characters seem less one-dimensional. But as for if you guys should see this one, honestly, if you haven't already watched Kill Bill, then do yourselves a favour and watch this cinematic masterpiece of gore and violence. I can understand that Kill Bill wouldn't be everyone's cup of tea, but if you absolutely love action, violence, and revenge stories, then this is definitely one for you. This is one of the finer revenge stories that I've ever seen, and is easily one of Quentin Tarantino's best films. Okay guys, that's my cult classic review of Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Whatever you think, drop it in the comments below. Until next time, I've been Michael. See ya!